cold, right? It is cold. Yes, it's cold. It's exciting. It's been around this league a long time, and so to see new energy, new teams, new opportunities. Certainly we know that there are a lot of great players who deserve an opportunity to play in this league, and cities who are serious about women's basketball, and ownership groups that are excited about the opportunities of the WNBA. It's an exciting time.
Diana's the only player in the league with a longer tenure than DB. At this point, I mean, just what do you see from her in year 20? And I know you have some experience working with her.
Yeah, I feel like those two keep finding the fountain of youth. They just they keep getting better with time. She's certainly one of the greatest to ever play, and seeing her continue to enjoy playing this game and the love that she has for her teammates and for this game and the opportunity that she has in front of her, not just with Phoenix this season, but the Olympics. I mean, to do something that's unprecedented. She's one of the all-time greats, and I'm excited every time that I get to watch her play. And I don't ever love stepping on the floor against her. It was much more fun when I was working with her in USA basketball. But I also think that, sometimes that's the greatest compliment to a player. It's like, hey, I never want to be on the other sideline. I certainly always want to be on the same sideline as a player like that. But it's great to see what she and DB are continuing to do, at their age. Yeah. I'm never happy with it, but coaches were never happy anyway. But I do think that I'd like to find more opportunities. They've been tight games. We haven't pulled away from anyone or been pulled away from, and so because of those situations, it's sometimes it's tough. I also think I have to do a better job of trusting the bench and putting the bench out there and giving them more opportunities. And that's on us and me as a staff. We got to find ways to do that. But they continue to be productive, in their minutes on the floor and continue to carry us, particularly in the end of game situations. Yep. I think we've seen even in the small periods of time that AT hasn't been on the floor that we can be productive. I think the thing I was most impressed with was were our huddles. How connected we were. How much communication and empowering of one another there was. How positive our huddles were and how confident we were and they were in understanding that we still are going to win this ball game, and how we go about doing it might look a little different without AT on the floor, but I feel like everybody had her back, went out there and stepped up in the moments.
What are some keys when you look at the Phoenix offensively, the 5-0 brand new style, kind of what you did last year with Bree Jones?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got to keep them off 3-point line. For us, we've got to do a really good job of. We don't want to trade 2s for 3s, certainly. We got to make their 3-point shots, tough contested shots. We got to take away tendencies. We've got to really limit the amount of times that Copper and Cloud are getting downhill to the right. We got to force them to hit tough contested shots to the left. We got to make them as a group hit tough 2s, and we got to rebound. And then offensively, we've got to make them work. We've got to get touches inside for Breezy, for AT when we got mismatches. We've got to read the doubles. We've got to continue to move on the offensive end of the floor. Switch up their defenses a lot, and oftentimes switching to his own defense forces offenses to be stagnant. We don't want that. We got to continue with our movement. We got to continue with our off-ball cutting, moving the basketball, drive and kick, and get high percentage looks.
Potential 6-0 start today, which would be a historic moment for this franchise. I know you guys don't want to look too far into records this early on, but how motivating is that for your team to know history right here in the West?
Well, I didn't know that. So this is the first I'm hearing of that. I think that the thing I love the most about this team is that they're just very singularly focused on what's in front of them. I'm not sure if anybody knows that. But we know that this is the most important game because it's the next game. And, we certainly have a competitive group that doesn't want to ever lose, even though that happens at times, right? And we know that Phoenix is a quality team who's playing great basketball and that they present a unique challenge that we haven't seen yet with how they're playing. And so we have to be locked in, on our tendencies, on our principles, and the wins and losses will take care of themselves.
I think in the past, the beginning of the season has been so compacted
Mm-hmm.
that it's hard to get rest and get practice time and things like that. How important were these last couple of days just to have off with the quicker travel now? Just like how has that all really played a role into how we?
It's been good. I think we're going to pay for it later in the year, but it's been good. We still haven't had a lot of quote unquote practice time, but we have had a lot of opportunity to recover, and we've been really locked in on in when we're walking through things and when we're really having more mental than physical practices. We've been really locked in, and I think that's the benefit of having a veteran group. Certainly, this is a group who understands how important our rest and recovery are. They take care of their bodies, they take care of their minds, and the things that we need in order to be successful. So it's been nice, so far for us. But we know that right on the other side of that is going to be a tight schedule where we're not getting this much time in between.
Any update on Ray Jones as far as revving up the minutes?
Yeah, we'll be able to rev up her minutes. We're going to be more of a total for the next 3 games. And so for us now it becomes, managing what that looks like. So yes, she could potentially play more minutes in one game, I think maybe up to 30. But that could be at the expense of the next 2. And, we certainly know that we have Dallas and Atlanta who have really good interior players. And, so we're not going to play her just for the sake of getting to the minutes. We want to still be very strategic about making sure that we're efficient and effective, that we're not overloading her or overworking her, and thinking long term throughout the course of this week.
I feel like we sold her short. She also played really well.
She's playing great. Yeah.
How difficult on the subject of taking her out of the game? How do you feel you manage that as far as what she's been out there?
Yeah, I feel like early in the ball game, we do a pretty good job. And if if it happens to go really quickly, like that first 5 minutes, I usually try to get her out after 3.5. And if I look up and all of a sudden it's like 5:50, our staff will have sent in the sub to make sure that we get her out. In the latter parts of the games, the last few games, they've been tight games, and we've been really cognizant of communicating with our training staff. We'll take her out if we need to take her out, but they have been in constant communication with her and how she's feeling, and have felt very comfortable with the extra minutes that she's gotten in games, and then we just have to be very intentional in practice, and in the next game and how we're managing her minutes.
On the closeness of the games, that's kind of been a league-wide thing.
Yeah.
This year, do you feel like the bottom half of the league is closer to the top half than it's been in the years past?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's really good. The talent, the depth, roster depth on every team. It is a great league, and there are great players. I mean, we're talking about the best players in the world in this league, and on any given night, it is going to be a grind. I think in professional sports, you often see the exceptions. There's going to be a game where it's a blowout. It just happens. It's part of it. We've seen it throughout the course of the regular season, and especially the playoffs and the NBA. It does happen. I don't think we're going to see it as much in the WNBA this year as we have in years past. Everybody's just really good, and it's tough to win on the road. You certainly want to make sure that you take care of home court. But I think it's just a testament to the players in this league, the coaches in this league, and the quality of depth in the WNBA.
My bad. Blake, go ahead on Zoom.
Hey, Coach, this is Blake Spadaro from Blake's Take. How do you think Natasha Mack has played in Brittany Griner's absence?
I think she's been outstanding. She's been exactly what they need. She gets it done on the defensive end of the floor, rebounding the basketball. She's a willing screener, and then they find her on those roles, or when you get in rotations and coverages and offensive rebounding. No, she's been exactly what they need.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. George, go ahead.
George Guay from the Just Say Guay Sports Podcast. Coach, just in terms of preparing for Copper in this game. What's something that she brings to the table that you don't see in other players?
She's one of the most athletically gifted players that we've ever seen in this league. And, I think you used to play her tendencies to put the ball on the floor, to shoot the pull-up, and the way that she's shooting the three and improved her three-point consistency, makes her, in a way, not have any weaknesses. She's an outstanding rebounder. She's an outstanding defender. She's just a tough one-on-one cover, and she makes you pay every time you make a mistake. I've really enjoyed. I covered Copper when she was in college, when I was working with the Big Ten Network, and have just really enjoyed watching her trajectory and her growth and her confidence and the way she's continued to develop her game. She's going to be a tough cover. We certainly have a challenge in front of us here tonight with her.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.